So is anyone actually playing the Genesys role-playing game that was put out by Fantasy Flight Games? Have you even heard of it? Let's talk about it today here in the Geek Corner. Hey there everybody, it's RevKev. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much. Up to like over 2,090 subscribers. Really means so much to me that so many of you have joined the community here. If you want to know a little bit more about how I use the revenue I make from YouTube, I use it for Compassion Canada. You can find a link to that in the description below. So I want to talk a little bit about the role-playing game Genesys. Now, I had never heard of this game before until last April when my family bought me this Descent Legends of the Dark for my birthday last April. Now, I got this game, honestly, in a season when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to be doing with my hobby time. I just wasn't enjoying, thought I was going to be getting into Star Wars, the role-playing game, and I have a whole smack of books about that. I was writing my own stories in this, but Star Wars, and I just been blah with Star Wars. So I needed something else, and I was trying to find something maybe not so IP heavy, you know, not a Marvel thing, not a Star Wars thing, just something new and fresh, something I've never been a part of before. And so in the box of Descent Legends of the Fall, there's this little one-page advertisement here for the Realms of Terranoth, and it talked about this game, role-playing game, set in the realm that Descent takes place in, and that you could just go to this website to learn more. Well, let's check out the website. Okay, so we jump over to the website edge-studio.net, and here we find all of the products that they put out. Now, I'm going to be honest, I never really heard of Edge Studio before. I'm guessing this is where the Fantasy Flight role-playing game licenses went to, because it seems like, yeah, Fantasy Flight Games went through a whole bunch of changes, and it looks like their stuff for role-playing games went over there. So we check out the different games that they got, and we just kind of scroll through the different options. So there's the Star Wars RPG, and then we come into here, and then we've got Genesys. And you go in, and gives you a little bit of information about it, on how it's a gaming system that allows you to create your own settings. So there are a bunch of different campaign books that you can get, one of them being the Realms of Terranoth, but really it encourages you to really craft your own, right, to make up your own environment. And then there's some free resources here. You can download the character sheets and all your typical gaming type stuff here, but no rules. I don't see any rules here. So I kind of look around over here, and maybe under this section here, what have we got? No, again, it's more supplement kind of stuff. We see the different games. So if I click on Genesys here, so it just kind of brings me back to the exact same thing. So still no rules there. So you really have to kind of find your own rules. Now, what was weird about not being able to find it anywhere is that this advertisement was printed in 2020, and I got this game in beginning of 2022. So within the printing of this, and maybe like 2 years after the printing of this, you can't find it anywhere. So I did some digging, and I did manage to get my hands on a PDF version of the main rules. I don't like PDF versions. I prefer books. I like books, but it's all I could find. So let me tell you what I like about this gaming system. It's really, for me, it's the dice pool. It's this idea of being a little bit more dynamic in the storytelling than simply rolling one die to find out, do I hit, do I wound? Right? Like a lot of D20 games, you calculate what your D20 has to be to hit someone, to wound someone. You roll one die, hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss. I find that a little boring as someone who loves stories. I like it to be a little bit more adventurous, a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more engaging in the story process than just hit, miss, die, hit, miss, die, type of thing. So let me show you the Genesys Dice app to explain how this works. So here we got the free app that you can get from your app store. Different colored dice. You have positive dice and you've got negative dice. So your positive dice are for your abilities. So the green dice represent your ability and the yellow dice is proficiency. So if you're really good at something. Your boost dice is, let's say if you have a special advantage, you've been aiming or you were rested, anything like that. Then you've got your setback dice. So if you're shooting at someone who's really far away, you'd have more setback, more challenges. And then you got the difficulty. It's like trying to get through someone's armor really strong, and then any kind of challenges that might be there. Fog, difficult terrain, things like that. Then you roll all these dice. And the goal is to get one success. If you get a success, you're successful. Now, how is that different than just rolling a d20? Why do I have to have all these dice? Well, this is where it creates the story, because you also have advantages. You've got triumph, and you've got threats, and you got despair. And these things all play out in here in calculating what your final score is. So you can be successful, but still have threat. So for example, you shoot the stormtrooper, but the floor underneath you collapses and you end up in a different part of the Star Destroyer. Things like that. It just makes it a little bit more fun. Now I get it, that type of storytelling might not be for everybody. Maybe people generally just prefer the roll one die, hit, miss, and move on. But as someone who really loves stories, I just thought it was a fun way to work with your players in creating a fun narrative of what's going on. So yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell this whole Genesys system. Again, it's the basis behind this Star Wars role-playing game, which I thought was dead, but I've heard rumors it's coming back. I'll do another video about that another time. Was interested in finding out more about this Terranoth realm to see if that's an interesting environment to play in, but I don't know. And a little part of me is wondering if I could use this system to write some Dragonlance stuff. I actually have a Dragonlance idea that I wrote when I was in high school that I'm going to share in another video soon as well. So that's just me wondering out loud what happened to this game. If you know what happened to Genesys RPG, put that in the comment section below. Would love to learn what happened to this game. Is it dead? Is it just out of print right now? Is it coming back? Would love to know more about it, and if you know, please share that here with me. So again, thank you so much for checking out the video. Look forward to being back here with all of you again real soon. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.